going to mix up body double silicone, which is being opened up over there. Mix it up. It's made for life casting, so it's pretty simple stuff. It's 50-50 by weight or volume. In this case, I'm going to do about 150 grams of each. Stir them together, dump it on here, unceremoniously. And then I'll put plaster bandage on that, and that'll give me the mold to make my first positive. And once the mold is done, we'll do 2 coats of 1630 urethane inside of it to give a good thickness to the urethane portion of it, and top it off with a little ultracount. And that will make you. And we may skip the ultracount in the positives and just do it out of 1630 and burlap. But I'll show you that when we get to that point, and that'll be right after I'm done tying the plastic bandage on. So that leaves us with more time to tell stories. What else? Okay, the best stunt I've ever seen.
Okay, let's hear it.
It was on Batman Returns. And the way they cut it into the movie, they took the impact of the stunt, I think, having been there when they did it. The guy who played the Penguin was a stuntman, in this case was a stuntman named Richard Drown, which I thought was ironic in that he was falling 60 feet into the water. Yeah, that's not a good name. But I was talking to him one day, and he said, yeah, I used to double Dudley Moore. I said, because I'm a big fan of Dudley Moore. I said, did you do the fall down the hill in 10, which is this epic fall down the hill? He's Dudley Moore's character's all doped up on stuff from the dentist, and he trips and falls down this hill, and it just seems like it goes forever. He's plants and just flies through the air and then lands and jumps up again, and it's epic. So he said he did, and I said, you are my absolute hero. I said, that's the best stunt I've ever seen. So here was Richard Drown in the Penguin costume, full costume, with makeup on, 60 feet in the air on a 2x12 plank, running backwards to the end of the plank and throwing himself off and hitting a 4 foot by 4 foot square area in the tank. It's the deep part of the tank. The other part is only waist deep. And where the mark he had to hit was 14 feet deep. So that's where you want to go. And he hit there, but no one had taken into account. I mean, the fall was spectacular. So he runs backwards down the plank, throws himself through a plate glass window, flies 60 feet through the air, lands perfectly where he's supposed to. But nobody seemed to recall that urethane fat suits was like wearing a life preserver. And he hit the ground, or hit the water, and didn't sink one bit. He just went. Very sudden stop. He was flat on his back, fortunately. It knocked the wind out of him, he was fine. But he was just laying there after the stunt, dead silence, and he's just going. Poor guy. But it was fantastic. And in the movie.
Well, you have to just do it like 5 more times.
No, he did it the once.
Okay.
Yeah. But and he made good money doing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But in the movie, they cut to all these different angles as he's falling, and it just takes the shock out of it for me. One camera doing this would have been the way to go. It was a spectacular stunt. The little people who were in the penguin suits on that show, there were 6 of them, and they would frequently disappear from set. Where's Debbie? Where's Margarita? Looking around. I don't know. They went outside. I'd go outside. They're not there. They'd come back like a half hour later. They'd come back. Where were you guys? Oh, we stole a golf cart. They were terrorizing trams on the tour in a golf cart. So you guys have to be available when we need you for being in the suits. Oh, we knew we weren't going to be needed. All right.
Have there been any actors that were like a nightmare to work with?
I, you kind of have to alter your perception of reality sometimes when you're dealing with actors. You have to kind of try to see things in their different perspective, because otherwise you'll slap them all the time. I always try to get along with the actors, as opposed to being antagonistic. There are a few. Mickey Rourke was a bear to deal with, and I never really got on his good side because we're just different personality types. He had this maneuver that I noticed him do with the director and other people on the film, where he'd say, "Yeah, I'm doing this movie where I'm going to be playing Genghis Khan." I'm like, "You're not playing Genghis Khan, you moron." And he did that as a way of just sort of brushing people off. Start talking about this Genghis Khan movie like it was really going to happen. That was kind of his way of kissing people off and just going, "You don't count." I noticed that to him. But he was playing an Elvis impersonator, and I do this Elvis makeup on him. It was just a nose tip, and he saw the character as being fairly flamboyant. So he's performing at this nightclub, and he takes off his sunglasses when he sees this one person, and he wanted to have full beauty makeup on his eyes. I said, "Can I do like pink eyeshadow?" Or he said, "Oh yeah." He said, "I want eyelashes and the whole thing." Okay. So the first day he was at the hotel next door to the hotel I was staying in New Orleans. And I went over to the elevator to go to his floor. And of course there's the security guy there. I've got my cases with me. And they cleared me to go up, so I go up and I knock on the door, and his assistant answers, and he's there. But it took him a while to get into the makeup chair. And I'm like, okay, this is how this is going to go. I'm like, it's Mickey Rourke. Nobody's going to give him shit, And they didn't. So he was completely ready for about 40 minutes before we left the room, and he wanted to be in a wheelchair when he went down for no good reason. Just wanted a wheelchair. It's one of those actor things. I want to be in a wheelchair, and I want to have, those blankets they put on your lap. They're plaid and red, and I want to have a blanket like that. Red? Does it have to be red? Yes. So they scurried around for 40 minutes looking for this red. They finally found one that he approved of. They brought it up, they put it on his lap, and he got wheeled down down the elevator, wheeled across the street to the casino they were shooting at, and through the casino and into where they were shooting. And then he finally got out of the chair and started working. The next day, I do the same thing, call same time, so I go over to Mickey's room, and they tell me to come back in an hour. So I go back to my hotel, I come back in an hour, and I go up, and Mickey is in the bathroom getting a massage. So I think, okay, I wait for the massage to end. Mickey comes pokes his head out of the bedroom, and he says, "We're going to be about 2.5 hours late today." I said, "Okay, Mick, you're driving the bus." So I got him into makeup. We were exactly 2.5 hours late for a location that was across the street from the hotel. And the hair person told me as we were crossing that day, I believe he was in the wheelchair again. She said, "I got the wig on perfectly today, first try. Don't let him take it off. I'll never find that sweet spot again." All right. First thing Mickey does, takes the wig off. So she was not happy with me. I'm like, what could I do? He was taking it off before. He just grabbed it and yanked it off. So that was an interesting 2 days or day and a half. I got very little time to see the city, and But I've been back since. Had many good drinks. And who did that remind me of? Another actor that was hard to deal with. Mickey was, I think, by far the hardest I've had to deal with. Actors I've liked the most, Andy Lincoln is unbelievably cool. Norman Reedus. Most of the actors on Walking Dead are super cool people. And I liked an actor named Steve Guttenberg. He was awesome. Who else? Johnny, of course, was great. They're the least actory actors I've worked with.
So what was the yellow and what was the blue?
These are the body double silicone. It's made for life casting. It's also a platinum pure silicone. So again, you have to be careful not to use latex when you're using it. And, platinum cures are typically also inhibited by talcum powder. And,
does everyone know the difference between platinum and tin silicone? Okay, so the tin silicone is the pink one that we're using to fill up the prostate transfer valves, and then that one is not safe for skin, and then platinum is safe for skin. So that's the difference. And platinum is a lot more touchy, like it doesn't want to set up as nicely as the tin.
you can see I'm scraping down the sides of the container to get everything thoroughly mixed in, because you don't want to have unmixed bits in your silicone. That'll make a bad mold. And then try and scrape the bottom of it too, so that it's all been squeegeed clean and mixed in.
And before you pour it, you're gonna put the clay back on, right?
No,
Or,
no, you want this without the clay on.
oh,
We did have one person last class put clay back on and they had to redo all their positives, so
oh,
don't put the clay on these. That goes on after we make the urethane copy.
got it. Yeah.
So a quick double check to make sure everything's reasonably good there. Or, as I like to say, perfect. It's like pistachio ice cream. Yeah. This is where the slime containers open up overhead and your slime goes. Oh, okay. I already have some.
You won't part it.
Did you say the difference between the yellow and the blue one, or is it the same?
Good color.
Yeah, these are
They're
just
both
the same thing, just different components. And they're mixed 50-50. Or in this case, 150, 150. And you've got about 5 or so minutes of working time with this, so pour it on while it's still pretty flowable. And babysit it until it starts to set. And you want to make sure you've got a good 1/4 inch or more of silicone over the whole surface. So you'll do this for each clay piece that came off of your head. There will be, on this one, there will be left eyebrow, right eyebrow, nose, chin. Some of you have less than that. I don't think anybody has more than that. And then once you get all of your silicone negatives done, we'll do urethane castings out of that. And those will be your finished positives. Christopher Walken was fun. Batman Returns. But the PA said, every time we go to Chris's trailer to let him know they want him on set, he opens the door and all this cloud of pot smoke rolls out. That was the first show we had any kind of crazy stuff happen with leaks of information. Pages from the script were leaked to the National Enquirer. There was somebody on set who was doing it too, because photos of Danny DeVito's makeup were leaked. And they were photos that were taken in the makeup trailer. I think V took the photos and had them in a drawer at her station. And someone had to get them, they had to have gone in the trailer and gotten into V's drawer and taken the photos out of there. So that was bad news for all of us on set. I mean, production took it very seriously, and we talked to representatives from the FBI. Yeah, big deal. Walking Dead was similar in that there was paparazzi everywhere, and because there were people, you'd see them standing across the street from the set where they couldn't be bothered by security with cameras that had lenses on them. It was huge, shooting pictures of actors. Melissa McBride one time got out of her van and saw this camera guy across the street taking pictures, and she's a photographer, so she got out her camera and started taking pictures of her. All right, that's pretty much stopped flowing, so I'm going to not mess with it until it sets. And then just mess with it. So once that sets a little bit, I'll put the plaster bandage on it, and that'll be the finished mold for the first snap. And that's what you guys will be doing as soon as I'm done putting the plaster bandage on. And once we're to a point where we've got snaps done and are ready to fill them, then we'll do another quick lesson on how to make the urethane positive. And I'll have to think of more stories. It's taking its time. Do we have another tongue depressor? Yeah. How handy is that? So everybody's pieces floated okay? Neat. Ooh, dirt.